What did I do with my? What up? It's your girl Von Shay, aka Melanated Dope. Come on in the room. Pull up on your girl. Okay. Let me make sure. Wait, cause oh no, it's unmuted. Ciao. What up, y'all? Welcome in. So I'm still getting myself situated, but I thought I'd just go ahead and hit the live button. Yeah, um, in an attempt to be consistent and on time. I said, let me hit this button. Um, oh shit, Devin. Okay, Devin said, "What if I don't?" And it's okay if you don't know how to read. There are a lot of adult because you were grown, right? So there are a lot of adult education services that can teach you how to read. Okay, but since you popped into this live and you immediately said, "What if I don't know how to read?" That lets me know you know how to read. So let's read. Okay, I'll be reading to you. Also, if you don't know how to read and you able to work the internet, your priorities are really jacked up. I just want you to know that because how can you be on the internet if you don't know how to read? What are you on the internet for? To watch videos? What's it got? No shame though, you know what I'm saying? Because the American education system was designed exactly the way that it's designed. Look, y'all, I found agave in the raw jalapeno flavor. And it is the season of ick and germs passing. So, you need your little spice. You need your little spice to, get the things out. One way I like to get the mucus up out of me is lemon. What I do, lemon, cayenne, and honey. But yeah, so this is something new I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put it in with my dandelion. What I got in here? Oh shit, that's real spicy. Anyway, what I got in this this teacup today is red raspberry leaf, dandelion leaves and roots, and lemon ginger. Okay, Devin, shut up. Talking about watching real lot hard. No, That's not. That's good. But I'm gonna sit that hoe right here because I feel like I will knock it down if I don't. But anyway, so yeah, what y'all been up to though? How y'all doing? Welcome in. What up, Renee? Did I say hey, Renee? I don't know if I said hey, Renee, but hey, Renee. Y'all, I just been cooling, getting my life together, and things are slowly getting together. Y'all know if Baz is not in school, then he with me, and when Baz is with me, it is very hard to go live. So as I be telling people, turn your notifications on. I haven't started Spirit Chat back up yet, and again, that's only because I don't have the space and opportunity to do so. However, I'm coming. I will be returning very soon because Baz will be in school, and I'll be able to have that time. But the books are open. Yeah, did I like my new little logo? Shout out to my baby Maddie who created the picture itself. And I just did the add-ons of the Eye of Horus and the Ankh. Okay, yes. Yeah, Baz be schooling, but he only schools for 4 hours because he is autistic. However, they need to do their own testing and blah blah blah. So yeah, we're going through that. So until he is put in his SPED classes, which stands for special education, they only keeping him for a half a day. I'd be like, y'all better come on now, because y'all ain't be treating my baby like, okay, he deserves 8 hours of schooling too. But yeah. But yeah, we done kind of got through all of the red tape and whatnot, so it's coming along. I'm having a little vape. So anyway, let's get into what we came to do, okay? And that is read. Okay, y'all came to listen to me read chapters 3 and 4 of the Book of Juju by Juju Bay. Please go get you a copy. It is less than $20. Okay, and if you have a subscription to Audible, I do believe she has dropped the Audible. Okay, so if you don't want to read physically, read audibly, auditorily, whatever. Listen, okay, listen to her read the book to you. Yes, you didn't know what was so thick. Oh, the book, yeah, but it's not though. It's really just looking. Okay, but Juju thick, yeah, it's thick with knowledge, but it's really not thick with pages. Matter of fact, and it's a lot of chapters, but the chapters are short and sweet and to the point. But all in all, about it's 221 to the last page of conclusion. Okay, so from start to finish, 221, and then pages 222, 223, 224, references, acknowledges, index, and all that beyond. Okay, but yeah, so the first, we read the introduction, the first 2 chapters so far. And so far, we have gotten a nice little background of how Juju came. We are getting because we got to shit. We are getting into the history, her how she came to practice her practices and what it all she's practicing. So chapter 2 was about her Ifa tradition, practice of Orisha, and chapter 1 was about answering the call. So basically, she's just acknowledging that if you're here in chapter 1, she's acknowledging that if you are reading this book, if you are listening to me, then you are answering the call of your ancestors, of your spirit, of your higher self, of the divine universe, God, cosmos, blah, 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 so on, whatever you call that thing, okay, that you listen to, you're answering the call, right? And then yeah, like I said, so moving on into the chapters, chapter 2 is about Ifa and the Orisha. She gives a cute little breakdown. This is not everything, you know what I'm saying? She can't put everything that is her ATR into this book. Okay, so if you're interested, this is a nice little, introductory thing into Africana spirituality for healing, liberation, and self-discovery. Okay, is the subtitle of the book of Juju. Okay, so this book is just very introductory, but as we get on into the meat, then she started teaching rituals, cute spells, you know what I'm saying, things to do to get your Juju going. All right. So yeah, thank you for joining me. We are in chapter 3, my practice hoodoo. Okay. So let's get into it. Thank you again. Thank you guys for joining me. I did leave my bottle of water. I'll just drink it. But it's a little hot. No, there you go. A little spice on the tongue. All right. Let's get into it. So it says, hoodoo is a practice that is in my heart because it is what outlines my experience as a Black American raised and nurtured in the United States. Before I studied and understood hoodoo as a complex Africana healing and harming liberation system, I knew it as the hoodoo of my family, elders, and ancestors. It nursed me back to health and taught me the importance of prayer and that some of the most potent magic is always in the mundane. Mundane. If you don't know what mundane means, it means the regular, schmegular things that are not of the woo-woo and spiritual world. That's the best way to describe that. But Google. Yo, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I'm gonna apologize because y'all can see my work area. You know what I'm saying? Give grace. I be working. Okay. All right. So hoodoo is a Black American spiritual tradition and way of life that descended from the enslaved Africans in America. This active creation and understanding of Black Americanism by enslaved Africans creates a particularly charged way of understanding life and spirit. I am Black American, so my ancestors carry many belief systems and knowledge from various parts of the world. Although many of my ancestors were survivors of chattel slavery, stolen from West and Central Africa, they were dropped primarily in the United States, while others were dropped in the Caribbean. Those enslaved African ancestors were often medicine people who knew about plant medicines, healing herbs, rituals, protective talismans, and other spiritual traditions that were native to their country. Based on my Ancestry.com test, I have quite a bit Nigerian and Congolese ancestry, and thus can assume that medicines from regions in Nigeria and the Congo informed the kind of rituals that my ancestors partook in their homelands, as well as the United States. Many African people, hold on, yeah. There we go. Where we at? I lost my place that fast. Many African people are a combination of various cultural norms, spiritual belief systems, and even different deities because of the tribal mixing that happened as a result of colonialism and forced migration. I am going to the book signing. Oh, pause. Let's pause. Yes. Devin, thank you, Boo, for reminding me. Devin sent me a flyer, and I got to make sure I share it. Juju will be in Atlanta. I think Decatur, where it's greater, at Yes Please for a book signing, October 25th. Okay, I can't think of a better way to celebrate Who Heritage Month than to pull up and get my book signed by the illustrious Juju Bay. I'm excited. Bitch, I'm there. Okay? Thank you for reminding me. What up, Denelia? Okay, thank you for reminding me. Yes, y'all. It's called Yes Please. But after this, I will make sure I share what Devin shared. But you also, Devin probably has it in their story as well. Go to Devin, DEVINEX121. They probably have it in their story. Do you have it in your story? I don't know. But go post it in your story so that the people can see it. Okay, thanks. And then I'll post it in mine after we read. What's good, beautiful? We just reading the book of Juju. Welcome in. We're on chapter 3, my hoodoo. Okay. My practice hoodoo. Where we at? Okay. I think I'm gonna be yes. Here. The ancestors became a part of one Black race in the United States, whereas formerly people were identified based on tribe, region, and lineage affiliation. Blackness formed not only as a result of colonialism, but as a survival mechanism on this new soil. Camaraderie and connections were built. New languages were learned, and tribal separations mattered less and less as the Black race formed as a new identifying unit to combat slavery, Jim Crow, and other traumatic systems that we still see today in 2024. And that shit is crazy. I haven't gotten my copy yet, but it's on the list. Period. Yes, get it. Thank you, Boo. Thank you. Many of my hoodoo ancestors believe that we have the ability and right to protect what is ours, be free, and also enjoy our lives on our own terms by any means necessary. By any means necessary. Let's put a highlight to by any means necessary. Okay, I'm just saying. This is a liberation system. Okay, hoodoo is. By any means necessary, you are to protect yourself. That's on the physical and mundane and the spiritual levels. Okay, any means necessary. This energetic way to live removes feelings of guilt, shame, or doubt from my mind when I'm experiencing the positive aspects of life. It has helped me address my survivor's guilt, which is a guilt that often seeps into the lives of those who survived any form of tragedy or traumatic experience. My ancestors showed me that I have a right to survive, and I should not be ashamed of surviving, for living, for experiencing joy, or for finding pleasure. Okay, because pleasure is our birthright. Shout out to Levon Briggs who taught me. Okay, pleasure is your birthright, and we're not just talking about sexual pleasures. We're talking about the pleasures of growing things, of starting a band, of doing things that you wanted to do as a little kid. You know what I'm saying? The pleasure of saying no. Okay, the pleasure of having boundaries. It's the pleasure principle for me. Okay. Okay. I'm just saying. My ancestors showed me that I have a right to survive and I should not be ashamed for surviving, for living, for experiencing joy, and for finding pleasure. I will not only fight for my joy, but for that joy and pleasure to be accessible to more people because we all deserve those if we are acting right and doing our best. Okay? Highlight that part. We all deserve pleasures and to be happy and to feel joy as long as we are acting right. And when we say acting right, we don't mean we ain't talking about from a capitalistic point of view, work don't stop. We're talking about in alignment with your purpose, with who you are and whose you are, calling on your spirits, unburying your dead people. Okay? Okay. Okay, yes, Renee, the pleasure of self-expression. I know a lot of times I be scared to indulge in that pleasure of self-expression because I know that my viewpoints, my ways of thinking, is not very popular amongst my people. Because I know I haven't really been on Instagram much, but I stay on Facebook posting stuff and saying things. Like the other day, I realized that I don't know a lot about my local elections, who's running and for what. Now, yes, I did go look at, the governmental things, but I wanted to know what y'all niggas thinking about. How y'all feel about the people that's running, and nobody commented, nobody inbox, no nothing, you know. So, and it's annoying, but I'm still gonna talk my shit because I know many years ago I used to say, fuck all this voting stuff and this and third. However, I never stopped doing local voting. Okay, I just got tired of this federal shit of choosing the president of choosing people in Congress, and the old ass people that's still there are the ones that still got the most say so, and all this bullshit getting passed. You get what I'm saying? I've grown, I've changed, so now I'm talking my shit. And so, like I said, I don't indulge in that pleasure much, but when I do, chef kiss. I feel so good. I feel full. I feel whole when I'm expressing myself. Anyway, let's read. Let's continue to read. Where we at? Hoodoo gives me not only the permission to fight against personal and collective enslavement, but also acknowledges that warfare has been a necessary component of that fight. It acknowledges the fact that anti-blackness and indigeneity is real, and that there are traditions that acknowledge that truth through protective rituals and practices. These practices, all with ancestors at the center, okay, because ancestors first. I know y'all see those pretty Oshun altars, Shango, Ocho, all that, all those. But baby, ancestors first. Go to your dead folks, the people that when they were living wanted you to be protected, wanted you to have all the things that you desire, be prosperous. Okay, ancestors first. Okay, and these practices, all with ancestors at their center, encourage me to abandon all that does not serve me, because something better is always near if I make the right choices and keep spirit close. Okay, so regardless of what issues I may face, I can lean on the belief system of my religion, okay, as a backbone to support me in having a good and pleasurable life, which is a big deal from a Catholic raised child. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, which is a big deal from a Catholic raised child raised on tenets of constant repentance and shame. Okay, pause. I no longer subscribe to religious. Oh, it must be picking up music in the background. I'm sorry, y'all. My Instagram just it stopped on me. Give me a second. It must be picking up on this music playing in the background. Let me change it. Oh, I don't know what is happening. I don't know. Well, Instagram. Hold on. Let me make a real quick video. I don't know what Instagram is doing, but it's not letting me go live again. So yeah, pull up on YouTube or Facebook at Von Shay. I don't know what's happening. So yeah. Just, oh, that is so crazy, y'all. How that I don't know. And it could because I have music playing in the background, but I thought I had it low enough that it wasn't picking up on it. That sucks. That really sucks. Okay. Anyways, back to reading. I forgot what I was saying because I don't know what happened. Yeah, I think it went out. Oh well, and nothing I can do about that. Moving on. Back to you guys. Okay, where are we? Okay. If you can't tell in the world of African and spiritual systems, it is absolutely possible to acknowledge and be a member of multiple faith traditions as long as they serve you well. Especially as a Black person, I have intentionally not relegated myself to any specific spiritual tribal connection because I acknowledge the equal parts of me. This is a personal decision that may differ when you speak to other practitioners. It is very easy to get into the my African religion is better conversation, but I think you have to do what works for you and your destiny. Okay. Hoodoo is not quite the same thing as voodoo. Although there are quite a few similarities, you may hear people use the terms interchangeably, and it may be hard to initially understand the distinction. As I explained earlier, both hoodoo and voodoo contain rituals heavily African influenced and can contain beliefs and practices from Christianity. Voodoo specifically deals with a religion that is influenced by West African Vodou, a religion in its own right, that also translated into Haitian Voodoo, again, an independent religion, that then intermixed with folks in Louisiana through French Catholicism, which birthed the tradition of voodoo. Okay. Voodoo is like the American baby of voodoo, although some people refer to voodoo or voodoo as voodoo too. Context greatly matters. Regardless, hoodoo and voodoo are examples of how our ancestral traditions never died, but instead morphed to remain relevant to African descended people in America. As I must reiterate, as any good hoodoo lady would, hoodoo is not inherently bad or evil. Hoodoo is whatever you make it and can be used to amplify whatever intentions you may already have. If your intention is to harm, then hoodoo can help you harm. If your intentions are to heal, then hoodoo will amplify your healing. Put that back there. Oh, yep, here it is. Looks like you should have sent something that attacks a person. What? I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. We removed your content. It looks like you shared or sent something that attacks a person or group of people based on who they are. Wait a minute, Instagram. Yes, I need to request a review. Cause I ain't said nothing. I ain't said I ain't said nothing. I hate this. I hate the internet sometimes. I really do. I don't know. Just submit and let me get out of here. That's what it's saying that so it wasn't the music. It's I said something that triggered them. And I don't know what I said. Wow. Let's see if I can go back live, y'all. Let's see if I got any restrictions. Okay, I'm not restricted. You guys. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna let Instagram people pile back in. Cause I really am befuddled, y'all. Like that never happened before. And that's just letting you know that this algorithm is child. That's why I don't really be on Instagram like that. Cause what did I say? Hello, Bullardberg Doberman. Oh, that's crazy. Anyway, back to it. But if it cuts off again, I'm just gonna let it cut off. I am not gonna worry about it. Okay. Let me sip tea to that. It swears like you've been warned. Boy, that algorithm, boy, that thing don't play to it. Let me get back to reading because I really want to get through chapters 3 and 4 before 11:30. And I don't read slow, so let me stop chit chatting. Okay, hold on. All right. So as I must reiterate, as any good hoodoo lady would, hoodoo is not inherently bad or evil. Hoodoo is whatever you make it and can be used to amplify whatever intentions you may already have. If your intention is to harm, then hoodoo can help you harm. If your intentions are to heal, then hoodoo will amplify your healing. The objective in how you practice hoodoo lies in your intention and what your ancestors and the spirits sanction you to do. But hoodoo is essentially about power. What you do with that power is on you. And the repercussions of using that power are on you too. Okay. And this is why, and let me pause here real quick, because I've been getting a lot of people asking me about doing stuff um, uh, to other people. And I tell them, you do what you want to do. But if it ain't on my spirit, that ain't me. I'm not gonna work that for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't money, I don't care about your money. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you what to do, and I tell you that I release whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens is on you because you're grown. If you just decide to do it, may the odds be in your favor. Okay, that's all I can say. But you know, juju how you juju, but make sure it's in alignment with your with who you are. Okay. Okay. The objective and how you practice. Okay, wait. I said all that. I'm not in the business of telling anyone how they should use hoodoo, as I've seen it work miracles on both ends of the spectrum. I've also witnessed and historically know that the healing and freedom that the power of hoodoo and the spirits behind it have yielded for others. This is especially apparent in the stories of High John the Conqueror. High John is a spirit that many faces. High John is a spirit with many faces and facets. He can be seen as a collective ancestor with a deep collection of lore concerning his life and the powers he carries to support those he wants to protect. There is one story about High John that names him as a former slave. However, he was a slave that was always perceived as smarter than his master. High John would play tricks on him, set him up, and confuse him, which would not only piss off his master, but also give a lot of pride to the other enslaved folks who knew that John could get out of anything. There are also stories that High John was the former Congolese king enslaved in America, but who never lost his kingly wit and power. There's also a lore of John marrying the devil's daughter and running away with her, narrowly escaping the clutches of Lucifer himself. This trickster and resilient energy that our ancestor John embodies can be summoned with the very popular hoodoo plant known as High John the Conqueror root. Those in possession of this root can summon the powers of High John and defeat any enemy. I'm pausing real quick because I may have my High John down in my bag because sometimes I have it and sometimes it be in something else. And today, yeah, it's somewhere. It's somewhere. Yep, here it goes. I have I have a lot of little things in this little bag here. But yeah, so this is High John. Can y'all see it? Can you see it? Yeah, y'all can't really see it up there because it goes into the shadow. But yeah, that's the High John root. If you are black, okay, and black African American, this root is for you. If you ain't got no nigga in you, it's not for you. Okay, and I can't put it any other way than that. All right. So where were we? He got through Lucifer. High John told the slaves that although he was leaving, um, wait, it's going back. Those in possession of this root can summon the powers of High John and defeat any enemy. High John told the slaves that although he was leaving the plantation, they could call on him anytime and he would come to those who were being abused by their masters or were enduring other forms of hardships through severe injustice. This root has been used by many in order to achieve victory in their endeavors and fight back against abuse. Frederick Douglass was even said to have been in possession of this root when he successfully fought back against his slave master. These stories about High John, whether the original or people who embodied High John like energy, contribute to how we view the collective ancestor of High John, whose energy and power is summoned by many of us who know his name and have been granted access. Many collective. Hey Michelle, I'm using my friend's Facebook to watch live. My name is Johnny and I'm male. Oh, okay. Well, hello, Johnny. Welcome in. Um, how Where are we at? Many collective ancestors like High John, John Henry, Caroline Dye, Zora Neale Hurston, and Kathy Williams can all be considered important icons within the Hoodoo pantheon, who are also collective ancestors to us. Okay. However, not every Black person identifies as a hoodoo conjurer. As a conjurer is someone who specifically uses the spirits of the divine, use the hoodoo spirits of the divine. Wait, I lost it. Okay, of the divine and natural elements to control or manipulate a behavior. Ancestors knew a lot about plant medicine because they were equipped to work with the land. So they knew the berries and plants that could be used to poison livestock and slave masters. Conjurers were often thought as medicine people to, to stop a partner from cheating or to give spiritual advice on winning the lottery or making business deals. Pause here. Let me put my finger there so I can remember where I'm at, right? So when we talk about how our great grannies and great grannies and grandmamas and granddaddies relationships are lasting, I used to see that a lot. In these spaces on the internet, right? But what you got to understand is that grandma, great grandmama, great grandmama, they couldn't do nothing for themselves, like literally by law. So they had to make those men stick around so that they could have a decent living, and most of them still didn't have a decent living, if you want to be honest. So I'm saying all that to say that in the year 2024, I'm not helping nobody keep a cheating ass person, whether they be male or female or trans, whatever your identification. I will not help you keep anybody that is cheating on you. Okay? I just won't do it. That's just me. So don't ask me, because I'm gonna tell you to leave them. I'm gonna tell you to leave them. All right, so conjurers were and are sought to keep bad people out of your house. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Conjurers were often thought as medicine people to stop a partner from cheating or to give spiritual advice on winning the lottery or making business deals. Conjurers were and are sought to keep bad people out of your house or to find love. I descended from a root lady who went by the name Merlisa and was from Matthews County, Virginia in the mid 1800s. Because Black folks didn't often have access to white doctors, my great grandmother would work out of her home to provide herbal remedies to families and to birth babies. She was so successful and highly regarded that white doctors would often send patients to my great grandmother's house when they couldn't figure out themselves what was wrong. Okay. I've been told that LOL, that I'm a healer that brings old and lost friends back together and I'm well protected. Oh, I love that for you, Johnny. Okay. What up, Sam? What up, Peanut? Healing, protection, fighting, liberation, cleansing, dancing, eating, singing, prophesying, baby birthing, and the like are all aspects of hoodoo. It is no surprise that popular Black dance moves today have their roots in the rituals of traditional African tribes from regions that we may have descended from. The belief that it's bad luck to sweep a person's foot with a broom, that it's good luck to eat black-eyed peas on New Year's Day, and that spilling salt can bring bad fortune, all have a root in a traditional belief system. Let's get into that. Many of these superstitions are simply rituals that have been around for many years as a means of protection and securing blessings. This is important because hoodoo holds a very rich history, and thus we can understand much about our past through ancestral archiving and resilience. Hoodoo is not one size fits all, nor does every ritual work for everybody. This is also true for many African centered traditions, as we are not a monolith, and neither are our belief systems or rituals. Hoodoo specifically is quite regional, meaning that certain practices that make sense in South Carolina may be unfamiliar in Virginia. Okay. And I've seen this a lot. Hey, Ray of Sunshine. I've seen this a lot in different spiritual hoodoo spaces. I'm a Georgia hoodoo, right? So my hoodoo is very Gullah Geechee, okay? Very and Gullah, but the Gullah Geechee are very much and I'm not claiming that those people, but I'm saying it's much like theirs. But if you know the history of the Gullah Geechee people, a lot of them were the very last to be dropped off in those outlying islands, and then they moved inland to South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Okay, so a lot of the things that a lot of Geechee people do, I do. I'm from Middle Georgia. Okay, I've lived in Savannah. I know a lot of the Geechee people, Gullah Geechee people, and I've seen a lot of similarities. However, Texas, okay? Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, their hoodoo is very different from that of a southeastern hoodoo. Whereas a lot of the things that my cousins in South Carolina and North Carolina do, we do in Georgia, they don't do in the Southwest and deeper South. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So this thing look different to everybody. Okay. There are rituals found in Mississippi hoodoo culture that seem to exist in that state alone. For example, shoe tracking, the process of gaining someone's essence through collecting their shoe prints in the dirt, may not be practiced in a region where people are less likely to wear shoes because of sweltering hot weather. Another example is the ritual of the nature sack. Nature sacks were very common in the Mississippi Delta region, where often a woman would wear a small sack around her waist filled with the personal items of her lover, nail clippings, cuttings of clothes, herbs, and even bodily fluids. A nature sack was said to keep your lover faithful. So many Mississippi women believed that they could control their lover's nature with this small sack tied around their waist. Although we can debate about issues of consent and the reasoning behind engaging in spiritual work such as this, the point here is that this particular ritual is regional and it has only later been adopted in other regions due to the spread of information through music and the media. I want to say it was jambalaya. I want to say it was jambalaya that introduced me to the nature set. Either it was, oh, what is that? Yeah, I haven't opened this book in a while. But but I have opened it. You see, it's well read. But yeah, the nature sack, like they said, is in the Mississippi Delta. Like I said, I'm from Georgia. I ain't never heard of a nature sack, but I have heard of a mojo hand, which is very much like the Mississippi Delta nature sack. Okay, where we at? The intermixing of Black church and hoodoo still exists today, as the line between conjurer and preacher was blurred in slave times. Not until emancipation did we start to see a more clear delineation between those who were people of God and those who practiced that old time stuff. Okay, give me that old time religion anytime. Okay, it's good to my soul. Mm. Many hoodoos will tell you that hoodoo and Christianity go hand in hand, and that hoodoo must include Christianity in order to properly be regarded as hoodoo. Pause. I've heard that a lot around this region, but there are other regions who do not believe that. Okay. This is simply not the case. Hoodoo heavily impacted Christianity. And I'd even argue that hoodoo impacted Christianity more than Christianity impacted hoodoo, at least initially. Okay. But we all know that our people had to hide. Okay. They had to hide behind the cloak of of the religions that were around them, which was religion. Okay. Okay. Y'all, what up? Welcome in, Rich Risings. Good morning, sister. How are you? How are you, Natasha? I'm reading. I'm at the end of chapter 3 of the book of Juju. I gotta watch my words, y'all, because the first part I got flagged early on Instagram, and it just cut off. And then I come back to see what the issue was, because I was like, nah, I ain't going for that. And they say that I was talking bad about somebody. I was doing some hate speech. I'm, I'm just talking about setting my people free and reading to them. That's it. Like, I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. But yeah, so y'all a lot of newbies to spirituality, to hoodoo, be following me and asking me questions, and I want y'all to understand that, again, everybody hoodoo is different, and you should always follow your spirit, your intuition, and your ancestors. Okay, just throwing that out there. Okay, but you will see many similarities in all religions, all of them, all spiritual thoughts, all of that. Okay, anyway, where we at? Ooh, but hoodoo is a valid tradition on its own without use of the Bible or other Christian objects. Islam also influenced hoodoo, as well as people who never converted to Christianity and instead held on to their African beliefs, or at the very least used Christianity more as a way to make sense of their new reality than an abandonment of their African traditional methods and modalities. The founder of the largest Pentecostal church in the United States, the Church of God of Christ, also known as COGIC, Charles Harrison Mason, was in fact a man who practiced conjure, a branch of hoodoo. Okay. In fact, Charles Harrison Mason created the Kojic as a way to honor his ancestors' ways of worshiping through prayer rituals, song, dance, spontaneous shouting, prophesying, and emotive expression, all of which are very African. It is also said that he would use natural objects to discern God's will and healing roots and other natural modalities. Hoodoo and Black Christianity have become intertwined through escape routes hidden in spirituals, water baptismal rituals, and prophesying. This does not mean that hoodoo needs Christianity in order to function. Okay, so that hoodoo is an entity all on its own. All right, when people, but like I said, as a person raised in Georgia, the Bible Belt South. You get what I'm saying? My hoodoo has to include the Bible. My Bible is right there. I can't reach it right now, but that's for me. If you have church hurt, abuse, you know what I'm saying, certain feelings behind Christianity and the Bible and the church, I understand if you don't use the Bible right now. Okay, you have to unpack that hurt, right? Because your ancestors 9 times out of 10 were Christian, and they're gonna ask for a prayer, a song. Okay, they're gonna tell you to go to Proverbs, whatever, to do whatever. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But follow your heart and your intuition. Okay, shout out to Jewel for that song. All right. Regardless, regardless of what is shown in the public eye, there are many accounts of church folks, regular folks, and even the preachers seeking the medicine of the root lady or the two-headed doctor to handle the issues that God seemed to keep his hands off. Many psychics, witches, and conjurers today will tell you that our client list is long. And it isn't just the people with head wraps and crystal necklaces. It's everybody, especially those you would least expect. This has always been the case, and I'm sure always will be. People know where to go to get things done. And that's the end of chapter 3. We're gonna keep it. Let me see what time is it. Yeah, we're gonna keep it. Oh no, my laptop is dying. Pause for the cause. Let me go. Oh, had to find a bookmark real quick. But let me go get my charger, y'all, because I don't want to lose you. Okay. Thank you guys for your patience. I did not want to lose you. I don't know what that is. Because see, now that we know that it was not indeed not my music, I'm going to turn my music back on. Oh, okay. Now I feel like it's too loud because the fan is off. Mm-mm. No, I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to try the internet. All right. Chapter 4. How I met my ancestors. Okay, now we're going to get into the good stuff, the juicy stuff. I met my ancestors for the first time in 2017. Now, of course, they have always been around, but this is when I really listened. In 2013, I built my first ancestral altar in my dorm room in Spelman College, but I didn't really know what I was doing or fully understand why I was doing it. I read about altars in an Ayanna Van Zant book and decided that I needed one too. That whole thing eventually fell off after a year or so. I was not a child who talked to the dead or saw spirits like many folks deep into the Juju work seem to have been. The only spirits I talked to during that period of my life were saints, whom Catholics saw more as elevated beings whom we could pray to instead of worrying God. I prayed to Jesus's mama, Mary, of course, but some of the saints whom I needed to help me, but I didn't see them and they didn't talk back to me. The only reason that I knew or felt that they were real, the only reason that I knew or felt that they were real was because my prayers were always answered. Otherwise, I had no particular interest in the dead as a child. I was too busy being in a child's place and delving into the world of girls, boys, and ever present sadness and disdain for life. So I met my ancestors when I was grown. I was still deeply unhappy, as many graduate students are, especially Black ones at a predominantly white institution. During this time, I was at the beginning of dedicating 5 years of my life to a doctoral degree in clinical psychology. I had just moved to Chicago, Illinois, and was prepared to embark on the kind of healing journey that traditional Western medicine allowed me to partake in. I was very familiar with mental health struggles. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, and generalized anxiety as a child. And while I have struggled with my own mental health for most of my life, I knew that there were resources, people, and medicines that could support me. That access, as well as the knowledge that it existed, played a huge role in my ability to find care as a youth. So I wanted to provide it to other people, especially children who were struggling. I wanted to encourage Black families in particular to seek education and knowledge about the complexities of our brains and our traumas. I wanted to share the resources and tools that I didn't always have through therapeutic technologies. And and I believed that this was my ultimate calling as a healer. So after I graduated undergrad from Spelman College, with my bachelor's degree in psychology, it was no question that higher education would be my reality for several more years. Excuse me. However, while attending graduate school, a slew of my own mental health issues arose as I dealt with academic racism, ridiculous professors, money issues, family traumas exacerbated by my study, and a failing romantic relationship. Mental health did not exist for me at that time. I was simply going through the motions, practicing with mock clients, analyzing data that I could barely comprehend. I found it hard to communicate with people, which is usually easy for me. I didn't feel safe. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think. I was severely unhappy, and this unhappiness deeply affected my schoolwork, my connections to other people, and my overall quality of life. I was struggling. Okay, that sounds like me in a lot of different ways over these past couple of years. And I'm telling you, before I got my mental health together, I got my spiritual health together, and I'm still working on. And remember that healing is not linear, so you'll always be healing something, always be unpacking something. Sometimes you may think that you have worked through something, and then something comes up, and you're like, "Oh, damn, that still affects me." I've had many of those moments. Okay, give yourself some grace. One night in 2017, I finished my work as I normally did. I probably had a few too many glasses of wine while studying, as I normally did, and I went to sleep, prepared to wake up early in the morning as I did almost every day. But things shifted for me after this particular night. Until this experience, I had never been much of a dreamer. Sure, I had the usual dreams that didn't make sense, mostly consisting co- most mostly consisting of disjointed visuals that I hardly remembered. I absolutely was not someone who had prophetic dreams or who saw visions or interacted with spirits in my waking life. I was not connected much at all to the ancestral realms, that is, until I met them on this lonely night. In this dream, I saw the face of my maternal grandmother on the left and the face of my paternal grandmother on the right. I was looking at only their faces, both from the neck up, emerging from a pitch black background. I looked at them with intensity and love. They were still stoic. It almost felt like the portion of a video game where you choose your fighter. Their faces didn't have much expression, but they were present. Before I was about to choose my grandmother fighter, the face of my maternal grandmother, Grandma Ruth, disappeared, leaving me with my grandmommy, Elistine. Her face was still unmoving. I looked at her for some time until it felt like something snatched me into her eyes. It was almost as if I were going inside her mind and inside her personal history. As I traveled into more darkness through the portal of her eyes, and then I arrived. Suddenly, I was actively witnessing life on a plantation. I could not be seen as I watched most of this story from an aerial view. I somehow knew that this plantation was in South Carolina. I don't know how I knew, but I was certain that this information was completely factual, as this is where a lot of my family on my paternal side is from. From my perspective, far above the land, I watched enslaved people being actively brutalized, yelled at, and whipped. I saw people walking through the fields, picking and carrying bundles of cotton. There were Black children running in the fields too. I was very clearly and obviously witnessing slavery. Then I was inside what looks like a small slave cabin, very dark floors and walls, most likely made of wood, maybe some pieces of brick. After taking in the makings of a small slave cabin, I noticed two middle-aged white men and a Black woman who looked like me. Her hair was thick and pushed up and back. She was dark skinned with a thin frame and short, like my grandmother. There was a bed, a chair, and perhaps a small table too. But what really stood out to me was the white linen. It was such crisp white linen that lined its uncomfortable looking bed, and there was more white linen on the small chair, perhaps in preparation to be folded or put on the bed itself. I don't know why this stark white image stood out so much to me, but the minute I stopped noticing the white linen was the minute I watched two men brutally gang rape this unnamed woman whom I, in the dream, understood to be one of my foremothers on my daddy's side. Whew. Oh, trigger warning for essay. Okay, trigger warning, just in case. Hmm. Oh, Michelle, yes, yes, you pay attention to your dreams, honey, because if they've been coming true, then that's you. Oh, and I'm sorry, Johnny, because you said you're not Michelle. All right, where was I? Where was I? Okay, deep breath, because this is a lot. When I read this part, it's a lot. She was quiet the entire time that they brutalized her and beat her. She never yelled or even whimpered. The room was in complete disarray when they finished. And so they beat her again because of the mess that was made. Once they fixed their pants, they left, ordering her to not be so filthy next time. She remained quiet. After they left, she just started pulling the sheets off the bed and gathering them to wash. She scrubbed her blood and reassembled the place, bringing it back to normal. I continued to watch all of this from my aerial view. Within the dream, it seemed like some days or maybe weeks had passed, but I learned that this unnamed ancestral mother of mine died of what seemed like a broken heart. She died because she was unfathomably sad. She left behind two or three children. I don't know how I learned this in the dream. I just knew that's what happened. Once I got this piece of information, I immediately woke up in the morning with tears in my eyes and an uncontrollable feeling of sadness. What the hell did I just witness? As you can see, this dream or vision still hasn't left me many years later. I had class that morning, and interestingly enough, it was with my only African American professor in graduate school. Dr. Moore's class was the one I liked best. She always brought the importance of racial understanding within psychological work to the forefront. And she had a way of really empowering and uplifting her Black students in the class. She was my absolute favorite, and I think I might have been hers too. I was usually very talkative to her in her courses, but that day was different. There was no hand raising or pontificating coming from me. My sadness and the visions of my foremother lingered. Dr. Moore told me to stay after class. Of course, I started crying again as soon as I began to recount my night and my morning to her. She listened intently, actively, without interrupting, and then looked at me straight faced and said, "Your ancestors are talking to you." At this point, I was familiar with the concept of ancestors, but I never felt they had talked to me directly, at least not like this. Dr. Moore continued to talk intentionally and slowly to me. You are in a program to learn how to validate and affirm the feelings and the traumas of everybody around you, including strangers, yet you have not validated your own, your family, or yourself, she explained. At that moment, I completely understood everything. I gathered our things. I'm sorry. We gathered our things and she immediately took me to the school librarian, Miss Carey, a kind woman with a very soft and welcoming demeanor, to whom I recounted my dream at Dr. Moore's request. I learned that Miss Carey was a genealogist and could help me learn more about my family history so that I could get more information about the woman in my dream. We started meeting weekly to build my family tree, sharing names and stories about what Miss Carey had been able to find through public records. My tree began to sprout the names of my family that I never knew, names that triggered the memories of my grandmothers and inspired stories that may not have been told otherwise. I still use Miss Carey's resource as a way to tie up loose ends within my own lineage and then use spiritual means to investigate these ancestors further. She was able to generate a family history that I had been largely confused or simply unknown for decades. All this happened because of a brutal dream about my ancestral mother, a Black woman who suffered during slavery, and the kindness of two Black women dedicated to connecting me to the dead. This is what spearheaded my ancestral journey, and I've never turned back, although I have looked back pretty intensely. I have since dedicated so much of my life to retrieve what was lost so that it can never be lost again. I share this story because it still blows my mind to think about today, but most importantly, it highlights the very intense and dramatic ways that my ancestors called me. Sure, they tried to reach me in 2013, but I'm learning that sometimes as humans, we need the dramatics in order to pay attention. Yes. My ancestors made sure to show me something so striking that it could get the message across clearly. After I had that dream, I knew it was them calling. As you've read, it was not a sweet calling or one that made me feel uplifted or inspired. It was tumultuous, real, traumatic, and sad. They did not whisper sweet nothings in my ear or sing me lullabies on a sandy shore and call me sweet baby. Instead, they showed me all the emotional shit they've been carrying, that my grandmother's been carrying, and subsequently what I've been carrying since birth. They showed me that the deep sadness that I've felt since childhood was not always my own. It gave structure to the actions of my family throughout generations. It was up to me, though, to do something with that information. And as Dr. Moore put it, to validate the experiences of my family and our complete stories, good, bad, and ugliest. The stories within our lineage are immense. It's hard to even fathom that some of the experiences may have been, I'm sorry, it's hard to even fathom what some of the experiences may have been, especially for those who descend from people who were constantly fighting to survive throughout their entire lives. These survival strategies are passed down through our bloodlines. Yes, you need to order. Yes, please order yours. Pardon my typos. Go get it. Go get it. It is possible. Wait, I'm sorry. But what my ancestors taught me is that if we don't seek to understand what has come before, we may unintentionally carry out parts of the past that we actually need to let go. It is possible to validate and heal through the events that have already happened and to learn from those experiences in order to live more comprehensive and exciting lives. Ancestral veneration has been a pivotal part of me growing into the best version of myself. Although I've experienced many different religions throughout my life, it was not until I intentionally connected with my ancestors that I felt more confident, loved, and supported. Honoring my ancestors is assisting me in honoring myself, which has been an impossible task for most of my life. Ancestral veneration is the link to what we believe has been lost. Okay, and that concludes chapters 3 and 4 of the book of Juju. Yay! Yes. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this so much. Thank you guys for pulling up and listening to me read. Please, please, please go get your copy on Amazon. And as I said, if you want to continue to listen to somebody read to you, she recorded it. She recorded the audiobook. So you get to listen to the author read her own book to you. It's so beautiful. I love that. I love Juju's voice. I've been listening to Juju's voice since 2017 when she started her podcast. Shawty my Beyonce. Okay. Juju mentions how Beyonce led her down the spiritual path, and Juju led me down it. For me, mine first started with first of all, I've always been a person to question Christianity because it just made no sense to me when I was a kid, right? And so I had a friend, a good friend, Monte, who would just drop knowledge on me. And in the beginning, I was not very receptive, okay? But around 2016, something shifted. And in 2017, I lost my mother, okay? My mother transitioned. And that's when I found a little Juju podcast. That's when I found the Witches Brew, Daisy October Latifah's spiritual group, where it's Black centered, Black women. It's Black women ran this group, okay? But it's just a whole lot of beautiful things that led me down this path and to be the spiritual woman that you see today, okay? And I'm ever learning and ever growing, and I want you niggas to learn and grow with me, okay? Because there is room for everyone to grow, to stretch, to expand, okay? Yes, this I'm telling you, we love Juju over here, honey. Juju is the foundation for me. I tell y'all. So make sure y'all check out a little Juju podcast. If you've never checked out a little Juju podcast, go all the way to the beginning, baby. Start. She got like over 100 episodes. Then you can find her also on YouTube. She got when people ask me how to set up their ancestral altars, when people ask me about spiritual baths, I'm sending you videos from Juju Bay. Okay, I'm telling you, the information is out there, and all you got to do sometimes is pick up a book and read. Okay, and I know that's hard for a lot of people because we live in a society that don't want us to read, right? However, we got to fight the powers. You know what I'm saying? We got to come together, and if by reading to you niggas, y'all get inspired to go get this book and to pick up other books. Okay. I've done my job. Yes. Oh, listen. Part of my typos. I will Spirit Chats is coming back, baby. Thank you. I'm working with someone, and also I don't have a cell phone. So the device that I be streaming on is my son's iPad and a laptop I got from the library that I actually have to send back very soon. So shout out to my friends who's gonna give me a laptop, and my cell phone will be here soon. So as soon as I get all of the things, but also, and y'all know I have my son who is autistic, and he only goes to school for 4 hours of the day. And that's why I'm trying to get my reading in. So because like even right now, he's about to get out because it's 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. But I thank you guys for your support. The books are open. If you would like a personal one-on-one, and every now and then I do pop up. I actually am thinking about, because we're in the energy of this new moon in Virgo, y'all, and this Virgo energy has just been on me bad to shift, to shift my shit, to make shift happen, to expand and to grow, but most importantly to get organized. Okay, I've been a lot of disorganization in my life, and so now that I've gotten all the areas organized, I can work on my business and getting it organized. Okay, you see how that works when you get your things You got to do the mundane. So spiritually, I have been having my shit together, you know what I'm saying? Praying, talking to my ancestors, so on and so forth. Okay. We're strengthening that. I'm actually about to um get ready to build my altar. But first I'm gonna go make my kids some lunch. But anyway, so I might go live and show you guys me building my ancestral altar just for more content. Because like I said, I've gotten my house in order. Okay. I've gotten the mundane things out of the way, and now it's time to work my juju. Okay. Great things are brewing over here, baby. I'm excited. I'm just so excited. Hoodoo Heritage Month is coming up. October is Hoodoo Heritage Month, is the month that we celebrate our ancestors. We celebrate our elders. Shout out to Mama Rue, who is not really on the internet. I feel like she'd probably be peeking in and spying. So I'm just sending that good energy to let Mama Rue know that we love and appreciate and miss her. She has a podcast that she had done, and you can go check it out. I think it's called Ancestors Wisdom. Anyway, if you look up Mamarue, Mama Rue, okay? But anyway, so she coined the phrase, started Hoodoo Heritage Month. And so during the month of October, we do a lot of things to uplift our ancestors, to connect us to the land, to the plants, to the roots, okay, to nature, okay? So yes, that's when I will be debuting my content. It will be October. But till then, turn the notifications on to catch me when I get the spirit and the space, okay, to pop up and do readings. But like I said, new moon in Virgo is happening. One of my favorite people to check out for the astrology teas and crystals and herbs and journal prompts, the Queen Poe, honey, her wellness community, $5 a month on Patreon, and it's gold. Okay, and then we read books, but she does the audible. Okay, so there's a book club, and if she don't have the audible, then we all buy the book. Okay, but yeah, there's a book club. There's a group chat of over 200 people. I don't know how many people on her Patreon. Yeah, it really annoys me when my lip gloss does that. But anyway, I've chatted up enough. Thank you all for pulling up. Go do the work. Remember, all you need is a little juju. Okay? I can't stress that enough. What did I do with my book? Here it is. All you need is a little juju. This is very, very great starter book for those of you who are just now answering the call to spirituality, to your ancestors, to God, to your higher self, so on and so forth. Yeah, and like I said, the books are open. So get at me if you need me. I love you. I'll see y'all later.